Hello, Algebra students. This is Mr. Yetman speaking. Today we're going to learn section 8.3, which is called multiplying a polynomial by a binomial. We're going to start today by reviewing what we learned in 8.2, and that was how to multiply a monomial by a polynomial. And I remind you what we did was simply we distributed. We took this 3x and we multiplied it by everything inside the parentheses. Remembering our rules for multiplying. This has a little 1 there, has an exponent of 1. So when we do this times this, we have 3x times x squared. We multiply the coefficients. We know there's a 1. 3 times 1 is 3. X to the first and x to the second, 1 plus 2 also equals 3. So that would be x cubed. Then we multiply the 3x times the 2x. Remember, there's a little 1 there. 3 times 2 is 6. X to the first times x to the first, 1 plus 1 is 2. That makes x to the second. Finally, 3x to the first times 5. There's no x's there. 3 times 5 is 15. And we still have that x to the first. And so there is our distribution. 3x cubed plus 6x squared plus 15x. Remember, this is called descending order because it goes from the highest power to the lowest power. The book sometimes calls it standard order. Also, the leading coefficient is the highest, the coefficient of the term with the highest power. So in this case, the leading coefficient is equal to 3. And this is a little confusing because it's the same number, but the degree is the highest power. And that is also, in this case, equal to 3. So just a little bit of review and reminder. So today's lesson is what happens if we want to multiply a binomial. So what if we wanted to multiply 2x plus 5 times another binomial? Let's say we had 3x, 3x plus 4. So it would say multiply, and we have 2x plus 5 times 3x plus 4. Well, the idea to remember is that we're still going to use the distributive property just like we did here. But what's complicated is that we don't just have one thing that we're going to distribute. We have two things that we're going to distribute. So this problem is just like this problem, but instead of just distributing the 5, which we're going to have to do, we also have to distribute the 2x. So both of these things need to be distributed through this binomial. I sometimes call this double distribution because you're really having to use the distributive property twice. So let's do that. First of all, let's take the 2x times both things in here. So first we're going to do 2x times 3x, which gives us 6x squared. So that was this first one right here. Now the 2x needs to multiply by the 4. So we have 2x times 4, and that's going to be 8x. So now we've distributed the 2x times both of the things in that parentheses. Great, but we're not done because the 5 also needs to be distributed too. So we're going to do 5 times 3x. 5 times 3x is 15x. And we're going to do 5 times 4. The last distribution that we're doing, 5 times 4 is 20. So here is what happens when we've done the double distribution. Now there is one more step. Notice that this has an x to the first and this has an x to the first. So these are like terms and we can combine them. Now you can't combine this with anything because there are no other x squareds. And we can't combine this with anything because there are no other terms that don't have an x. So, but we can combine these two. 8 plus 15 is 23 x's. So our final answer looks like this: 6x squared plus 23x plus 20. And that is what happens when you multiply this binomial times another binomial. So we had to double distribute. We had to be very careful that we did every single possible distribution. Now, some books will use the mnemonic FOIL to remind you to do this. And FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and last. So let me explain what that means. Let's do this problem again using FOIL. 2x plus 5 times 3x plus 4. So the first means the first numbers, the first terms in each parentheses. So this times this is our f. That's for first. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Outside means multiply the outside parts of each parentheses. 2x times 4, so that's outside. 2x times 4 is 8x. I stands for inside. That's going to be these two. 5 times 3x is 15x. And finally, the last means the last term. That's that times that. 5 times 4 is 20. And once again, we notice that these two have the same powers, so we can add 8x plus 15x is 23x plus 20. Now you can use FOIL if you like, but I really want you to remember that what you're really doing is double distributing. You're really just using the distribution property, this times the things in here, and this times the things in there. Let's do another example. Let's multiply. So we're going to have x minus 4 times 2x plus 6. And we're going to do our double distribution property. So first of all, this x has to multiply by both things in the other parenthesis. So remember, that's x to the first, and that's 2x to the first. That gives us 2x squared. X times x is x squared. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, now this x has to multiply by the 6, and that just gives us 6x. So that was the x being distributed by both of those. That x was distributed by both of those, and we got that. Now, this negative 4 needs to be distributed to both of the things in there. So that gives me negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Now, if you prefer to use FOIL, this was the first, that was the outer, that was the inner, and that was the last. So I did all 4 of them. Now I need to double check, can I combine any like terms? And once again, I have 6x and I have negative 8x. Those are like terms. 6 and negative 8 makes negative 2x. We still have that minus 24, and we still have that 2x squared. So there is my multiplication. Another example. I'm going to multiply 3x minus 1 times x squared plus 2. So, remembering that that's, okay, I'm going to change this to a 4 there for reasons known only to myself. Sorry, so we're going to do 4x minus 1 times x plus 2. Okay, double distribute. First term has to be distributed through there and through there. Remember, if you're doing the FOIL, that's first and that's outside. So 4x times x squared is 4x to the third power. 1 and 2 makes 3. And 4x times 2 makes 8x. Now this negative 1 needs to be multiplied by both of the things in the parentheses. That's the inside and the last, if you prefer. So negative 1 times x squared is just negative x squared. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. So I've done 4 multiplications because I have the 4x is multiplied by both things and the negative 1 is multiplied by both things. There's my double distribution. Simplifying this, I look for like terms. But wait, there's a power of 3, a power of 1, a power of 2, and no x's. There are no like terms here, so I can't do any simplification. But what I can do is write in descending order. Highest power to lowest power. So all I'm going to do is rearrange these a little bit, which gives me 4x cubed minus x squared, because that's the next highest power, plus 8x minus 2. And so there's my answer. Okay, now we're going to do the advanced part of this. Power level advanced engaged. So now I'm going to take a binomial, x minus 3, and I'm going to multiply it by a trinomial. X squared plus 5x minus 7. Now in this case, we still are going to double distribute. This x has to multiply everything in there, but this time there are 3 things. 1, 2, 3. And this negative 3 also has to multiply 1, 2, 3. Now, you can't really use FOIL here because that only works when you have 2 binomials. Because this, we have a binomial and a trinomial, but the idea of double distribution still works. This x gets distributed, this negative 3 gets distributed. It's just now we're distributing it through 3 different things. So let's start. X times x squared makes x cubed. That times that makes x cubed. It's a power of 1, it's a power of 2. We add them together to get 3. X times 5x makes 5x squared. That's a power of 1. That's also a power of 1. 1 and 1 is 2. The coefficients are 5. Finally, x gets multiplied by that negative 7, and that just gives us negative 7x. So that x got multiplied, got distributed 1, 2, 3 to 3 different things because there were 3 things in this parentheses. Now that negative 3 needs to get distributed 3 times. First of all, negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15x. There's an x there, none there, so we just have 1x there. And finally, negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. Because this x got multiplied by 3 things, and this negative 3 got multiplied by 3 things. Gave us a total of 6 total things. Now we're going to look for like terms. I see that there's a 5x squared, and there's a negative 3x squared. Those are like terms. There aren't any other x cubed, so this poor little x cubed doesn't have anything to combine with. He stays by himself, but this 5x squared and this negative 3x squared can combine, so that gives us positive 2x squared. We also see a negative 7x and a negative 15x. Those are like terms. And so negative 7 and negative 15 is negative 22x. This particular thing is this last term, 21. There's no other constant terms, so we have plus 21. So there is my complete double distribution. I've multiplied, in this case, a binomial times a trinomial, and I end up with something that has 4 different terms. So please review these problems carefully. You can always go back in this video and look at the parts that you didn't understand. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll be happy to help. Please look at the website daily, as I will be updating the assignments each day of this week. And I'm always here if you have any questions. Good luck to you, and I hope you have a great day.